16th Annual Prism Awards. Hi Tony, Chris Hill with Front Row Monthly.
Hi, Chris.
Hi, I heard you won the award last year.
Yes, I did.
And given that so many awards don't really have the substance behind them as the Prism Awards.
You mean that they're shallow and no?
I didn't want to say that, but how does it feel to not only be a winner but come back and present the next year?
It feels great. It feels great. I mean, I was shocked. My publicist Nadine Jolson called me up and said, "Oh, guess what? You're nominated for a Prism Award." And I was like, "Really?" And then I came here and I got the award. First time I ever left an awards dinner with an award, so that was great. It's like I said, every time I go to the SAG Awards when we're nominated for the ensemble, you know what? And I mean it. It is really great to just be at the party, because especially the SAG Awards, because you're selected in the nomination through your peers, from your peers. And here, I don't know how many people nominated me that may have been in recovery, but it was nice. It was just really nice.
Excellent. So you're in recovery as well?
Yes, 19 years.
19 years. That's impressive.
Well, yeah. It's like somebody once said. I remember when I got 10 years. I was like, double digits. The guy said, yeah, but don't worry about it. Nobody gets triple digits.
And how does it feel to be at the Prism Awards, that knowing that they cover a little bit weightier and heavier subject matter than most others?
Especially, obviously, being kind of the youngest one here as well, and talking about a very current social issue. That's something that there's bullying, but then there's cyberbullying. And with our very, very technological world that we live in with social media, it's everywhere. It follows you into your home. It's everywhere you have an internet connection. So it's really hard to get away from it. And cyberbullying, the movie that I did last year, was about a girl who didn't know how to handle it, didn't know who to talk to. And I think that's the main thing, is just trying to find a support system wherever it may be to try and make it better.
Actually, I am presenting an award about comedy and the presentation of mental health. So comedy is not, is the way to deal with a lot of issues.
Here at the Prism Awards.
It's great. It's a great cause, so we come out every year, so it was cool that this year they asked me to do the presenting. It's great.
And yourself?
Well, I've been here, 5 or 6 years to support Prism. Addiction is very close to me because it runs in my family. So anything I can support a more positive view of it. And
You're making me sweat.
Wow, good. I haven't made a man sweat in a long time. So it's a cause very close to my heart, especially because I'm an actress and a healer.
Well, I'm presenting kind of on the bullying addiction category, and it's, but we're very passionate about, because, we've kind of lived this through having a large African-American child. We've seen it and heard it all, so when they ask me to do this, I get asked to do these kind of things all the time, and typically I say no, but this is something that really rings true to what we believe in and what we're passionate about, so I was very glad to do it.
How is the film changed your life, it being released and you getting more of the notoriety?
Oh, life is not as we knew it. It's totally different now, but it's a good thing. There continues to be great things coming from this movie. It continues to move the needle. Adoption is up. Every time the movie is shown, which ABC Family is showing it continuously now. Michael, the kids keep going, when are they going to stop showing the movie? But every time they do, we get letters, the people that are stepping up and doing something and getting out of their comfort zone and making a difference. So, it's amazing the power that the movie continues to have. Most movies that have been out 2.5 years don't generate this kind of attention. But it's just kind of one of those movies that strikes a chord with a lot of people. So.
Yeah, it's very rare that there's such a movie that has such a positive impact, not only seeing the film, but on people's lives afterwards, moving forward.
Right. It was kind of the perfect storm, I think.
So, the grittiness of Southland.
Yeah.
How do you think it's accurately portrayed?
I think what we try to do is sort of recreate the emotional experience that an officer goes through. We start with basically the show's shot documentary style. And we start trying to do things as accurately as possible so far as police procedure. But it's a 1 hour scripted show, so we do change things, we do take license. But all of that is to sort of inform the more important element, which is the emotions behind the actions. What an officer feels when they pull up to a stopped car. How something that happens during their day can affect what happens for the rest of their lives, and how it affects their sort of inner partner relationships. So, yeah, I think we do a good job capturing it. I have to believe the people who tell us, which are other officers in other jurisdictions, as well as Los Angeles, that tell us we're doing a really great job sort of capturing what it's like to be, a patrol officer on the street. So, as long as we're getting good feedback from those guys and those women, it's we feel like we're doing our job.
That's what counts. And you're here at the Prism Awards too?
We're here, myself and Sean Haddisy are presenting. Southline has been nominated for a multi-episode series. And also myself and Ben McKenzie have been nominated for Best Actor in a multi-episode arc.
Are you receiving?
I am actually going to do two things. I'm doing one, I'm sort of talking about our veterans, a little salute to them and their sacrifice, and then I'll be presenting as well the best talk show.
Nice. So. When you woke up naked in a hotel in France, did you have any idea that you would be at the Prism Awards?
No, that's actually a really good question. I mean, it sounds like all funny, but first off, I wasn't naked. I was in my boxers, and they were filled with poo.
I was gonna say, I thought on more stories, I thought I heard that
It's the truth. That's a
you
true
sold
story.
it yourself.
No, but back in those days, I could have never imagined I'd be anywhere where like dignified people would be allowed in. I mean, that's sincere. I always thought I'd just be kind of living on the fringes of society. Let alone I'd be at a place like the Prism Awards that celebrates recovery. And I mean, even in my wildest dreams could I ever imagine that what's become my reality has become my reality.
And what was the hardest part of getting into recovery for you, and what was like the turning point that actually made you, or was it just like one day you woke up and were like, you know what, I'm kind of done with this?
Yeah, it actually was. I mean, I'd had other attempts, failed attempts at sobriety in the past before that, and those were kind of predicated on major events, DUIs or car crashes or bar fights or something really kind of dramatic that made me look at myself in the mirror. The time that finally stuck, God willing, I woke up one day, just like you said, and I without any effort kind of came to the conclusion that there was no possibility of me having any quality of life if I continued like this. And I called the rehabilitation center that morning, and that night I was in a bed.
Did you miss any part of it?
I think it's a dishonest kind of comment for anyone when they always say, well, no, my life's totally better now. I mean, my life's much more difficult now. You have to confront all the basic kind of human trials and tribulations that we all go through. It's a lot harder to deal with when you have to face them head on, as opposed to escape them and run away from and anesthetize yourself. So, I mean, there is a part of me that misses those days when I could just escape all things and really just, even for a moment, take a break from life. But those fleeting moments are greatly surmounted by all the other stuff, like being able to really believe my parents when they tell me they're proud of me, and to be in places like this and have a career. And the other day I bought a new car, and the guy was like, I'll be right back. I bought a Cadillac, and love it, by the way. Good. And the guy's like, I'll be right back. I'm going to go check your credit, make sure everything's good, but outside of that, we'll be okay. And he left to go to, and it was such a weird, surreal feeling, because I knew he was going to find everything to be okay. I was so accustomed to living dollar to dollar and having society as a whole look at me as like this outlaw, and it was like such a weird notion that he was going to walk and he was going to go call a bank and that everything's going to be fine. And so all that stuff makes up for those 20 minutes of getting high and watching South Park and forgetting that I'm alive,
Gotcha. And now, Question for you on Dr. Drew.
Yeah.
Is he sincere 100% of the time? It seems like he's all over he gets a lot of media coverage.
Sure.
And he does the show on VH1, which, because it's on VH1, takes a little bit of, people think it might be, you know what I mean? It's not.
Yeah, no, I mean, part of the tenets of the 12 steps, not to dive too much into it, because it is anonymous for a reason, but part of it is to not seek any kind of promotion through media. So even initially, I've been open with Drew about it. I looked at things like Celebrity Rehab in a negative fashion, but without question, Dr. Drew's motives in everything he does, whether it be television, his private practice, Loveline, are 100% authentic and sincere. I mean, that is without question. And I'm not just saying that as a colleague of his, I'm not saying that as a friend of his, I'm saying that as someone who's in recovery and has had a very unique kind of first-hand perspective of what he does. In all facets of it. So like I said, I visited him in his private practice. I've been on Celebrity Rehab, to kind of help out some of the patients, and I work with him on Loveline. So I know, without question, his motives are to create a world where people who want to get help can find help more easily, and that it's not because. Every single one of the members of Celebrity Rehab, whoever they may be, makes profoundly more money than Dr. Drew does, on that show. So I think
he's the one with the good motive for going on.
His desire is, and look, and a lot of the people's motives to go on the show is money, but so be it. A lot of the people who went on there absolutely with zero desire of getting clean to get 50 G's to go on that show are still clean today. So if their motive to get in the door was money, it really doesn't matter to me as long as the effect coming out the door is sobriety. Right.
Well, so what was harder for you, getting clean or Dancing with the Stars?
In a prolonged sense, getting clean. In a concentrated sense, honestly, Dancing with Stars was so much more emotionally and psychologically draining than I ever thought it would be, and so much less physically taxing than I thought it would be. I was really going in there preparing for like losing a bunch of weight, and it wasn't that hard at all. But psychologically, it was like a tidal wave of embarrassment and intimidation. Honestly, it was like going into an MMA fight. I was scared.
I never thought Dancing with the Stars in the octagon would be.
Well, think about it this way: most of the stuff you do when most of the stuff you do as an adult, you're good at. You don't consciously make a decision to purposely do something you're crappy at. You stop doing that stuff when you're 13. You try soccer, you try baseball, you try debate, and you kind of find the stuff you're good at and you go with it. And the stuff you're terrible at, you jettison. I knew I was in front of 30 million people going to do something I know I'm terrible at. And there's a weird psyche that goes along with that. And it's really tough. It really is.
She's waiting.
Well, don't listen to her.